So this video is going to guide you through the process of mounting an ERM onto a bike. So there's two stages to this process. First of all, for some bikes, we need to fit an adapter loom from under the seat to up behind the front headlight or the front number plate. And then the second stage is to fit a mount kit to the bars. So let's check out those parts on the bench here. So the adapter cable, not every bike needs this. The early 18 and 19 TPI bikes have an adapter cable from under the seat to behind the front plate. And the four-stroke bikes also have an adapter cable. Now the four-stroke kit comes with an additional diagnostic adapter because some of the four-stroke bikes have the earlier white plug and some of them have the red plug. So the bikes that require the fitting of the adapter cable from under the seat to the bars are the 2018 and 2019 TPI bikes, all of the KTM Group four-stroke models, and the Sherco two-stroke models. Now the Sherco cable installation is handled in a separate video. The late TPI bikes, so that's 2020 through to 2023, and all of the TBI bikes do not require the adapter cable to be fitted because they already have the necessary small black 6-pin diagnostic plug located just behind the front plate. So on those particular bikes, the installation of the adapter cable is not required, but all of the four-strokes and the early TPIs and the Sherco models do require the adapter cable to be fitted. Then the final piece on the bench here is the mount kit. Now that is generic to all bikes, whether they are two-stroke, four-stroke, KTM, Sherco, or anything. So Steve here is going to show us how to fit one of these adapter cables using this 2024 Husky 500 four-stroke. Now the process is exactly the same whether it's a two-stroke or a four-stroke, but we're just using this four-stroke bike as the example. So first of all, remove the seat. Then you need to remove the tank. So there's normally one bolt in the centre of the tank holding it on, and normally 4 bolts holding on the shrouds to the radiators. Then remove the electrical connector for the fuel pump. Various different models, TPI, TBI or four-stroke, will have that connector in slightly different locations. Remove the quick release fuel hose, which is on the left-hand side of the bike. And then you can remove the tank itself. So once the tank and seat are off, we can then go ahead and locate the 6-pin diagnostic connector. On this particular bike, this bike has a white 6-pin diagnostic connector. Some of the earlier models will have a red diagnostic connector. If your bike does have one of the red connectors, you need to use the short red to white adapter cable that's provided in the kit if it's a four-stroke bike. The earlier TPI bikes will always have just the white plug on the original loom. So once you've located that diagnostic plug, go ahead and connect up the ERM adapter cable. So the cable you'll see has a large white connector which goes onto the connector on the bike, and then it also has a red positive lead which needs to be connected up to the positive terminal on the battery. So make sure that positive lead is laid out in a sensible path so it won't get pinched or clamped by the seat when the seat is put back into place. Then you can take the length of the ERM adapter cable and slowly but surely place it up along or underneath the main frame rail and up towards the headlight of the bike. So depending on the make and model, the exact route that you choose may be slightly different, but if you use your judgment, follow the main frame rail and the main loom, and you can get the cable up beside the head stem and above the radiators and all the way up near the headlight. When possible, try and use some of the original fittings to secure the cable. There are also cable ties provided in the adapter cable kit, and once the cable's in place, we'll use those to secure it firmly. So then finally take the end of the cable and route it up behind the headlight so that it's accessible later on to connect the ERM to. Find somewhere sensible to cable tie the very end of the adapter so that once the headlight goes back into place, or once the front number plate goes back into place, you can access those cables easily. So now we'll just trace the cable back through and secure it carefully with the cable ties provided. Just making sure that the cable is positioned in such a way that it won't get pinched by the tank or the seat when they get refitted. So we'll just double check the final routing of the cable, making sure that everything is tucked away neatly and secured in place. Just remember, when the ERM is not in use on the bars, use the black caps provided to protect the connectors at the end of the ERM adapter cable, just to avoid corrosion or water damaging those connectors. So now it's time to set up the mount kit on the bars. So the mount kit is provided with every ERM and contains a number of components, which you can see on the bench here. So Steve is now going to begin setting up the mount kit, starting by applying the small foam rectangles to the underside of the plastic mount. Those rectangles just help the mount to grip on the bars and stop the mount from rotating. Then there are two small Velcro pieces, one of which is applied to the top side of the mount. The other Velcro piece is applied to the underside of the ERM. Now we should make the point at this time that you do not need to leave the ERM on the bars at all times. You can use it on the bars when you choose, and then you can remove it and leave it disconnected. And any changes that you've made to the ECU or to the tune will stay in the ECU even if the ERM is not connected and mounted on the bars. But in particular, if you want to view some of the dash data or make some tune changes while you're riding, it's quite convenient to have the ERM fitted on the bars using this mount at some times. So now the mount is prepared and ready, we can actually fit it to the bars. So first thing is to pass the cable ties through the holes in the mount. And then just choose a sensible location on the bars. So on this bike we'd probably go over on the left side here, but you can put the mount anywhere that's suitable and out of the way on your particular bike. Do up the cable ties very firmly, cut off the excess. So now the mount is in place, we're now ready to place the ERM on the mount and connect it to the bike. You'll see here we've also fitted the silicone cover over the cable so that when the ERM is mounted, it's protected from small impacts and from rain. So the ERM just sits on the mount and stays there fairly tightly due to the Velcro. So now we're ready to actually connect the ERM and power it up. So if you have one of the two-stroke models, whether that's KTM, Group or a Sherco, you need to go to the ERM cable and identify the largest connector on that cable, which is labelled number 1. It's a 6-pin connector. And that connector will be plugged into either the adapter cable that you've fitted to your bike, or in the case of the later TPI models and the TBI models, that number 1 connector will connect straight up to the 6-pin diagnostic plug that's behind the headlight. If you have one of the 4-stroke models, you will also use that same plug, number 1, the 6-pin plug, but you will additionally use plug number 4, which has a red number 4 on it, and that number 4 plug will connect up to the second connector, which is on the 4-stroke adapter cable. So we can now go ahead and plug in both of those connectors. And as soon as we do that, the ERM will power itself. So now the ERM is mounted and connected to the bike and powered, it's now ready to be paired to the ECU. So follow on with our next videos to learn how to do that process.